Hello, and welcome back to the finale of the first ever episode of Stardew Valley What the Valley Has to Offer, where I play through different professions, romance different NPCs on different farms. And today we are finally finishing the much awaited fishing playthrough. So it is summer 1 of year 2, and mostly we are waiting for an apple because we are stonewalled behind an apple to finish the community center. And after we unlock the community center, we can finish our journey to catch every single fish because we'll be able to unlock the sewers as well as Ginger Island. However, in the meantime, we do have something really fun. We ended off last episode right in the middle of our 14 heart event with Elliot, so we're going to check the mail and see what he has to say.
My dear Marin, the first bit of reading went well, though the audience was a bit smaller than I'd hoped. Still, I sold enough copies of my book to pay for my bug-infested hotel room. In a few hours, I leave for Zuzu City. If yesterday's reading was a warm-up, this next one will be a true napalm blast. I miss you very much. Remember to eat well. Oh, and don't forget the leftover crab cakes I put in the fridge. Love, Elliot. Well, it's sad that he's got a bug-infested hotel room, and it's sad that he only sold enough copies to pay for it. But I'm curious to see if there's actual crab cakes in the fridge. Oh, there's actual crab cakes in the fridge, guys. Yo, that's so cool.
Unfortunately, for the next couple of days, it was mostly tucking into bed and waking up to see what Elliot had left in the mail because there were no apples.
My sweet Marin, last night in Zuzu City was quite the experience. It seems there's a large literary scene here. A few dozen people showed up at my reading. I even signed a couple of autographs. It's strange to be seen as someone important. It's all a matter of framing, a grand illusion. For truly I am no one special. Only your devoted Elliot, as always. Currently, I'm alone in my hotel room, ingesting a Joja value meal. Should this be called food or edible matter? I need it long brewed. It must be the latter. I look forward to returning home soon. Hope you enjoyed the crab cakes. Love, Elliot. That's so cute. I feel like the more that we read these letters, the more we really get to, know Elliot's personality. And I am loving it. In dreams, when graced with lofty view, I gaze upon the sunlit sea, what distant shores I've traveled to. But time now clouds my memory. There is but one eternal place, where I shall someday pass beyond. In Valley Dear, my love waits, our little home beside the pond. Elliot. He recites poetry to me, and that probably would have felt really out of pocket if I hadn't been talking to him every day and he had recited poetry to me just randomly on the day before he left, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And it makes a lot more sense to get a letter with poetry too. My dear Marin, I won't bore you with any more details about my readings. They are mostly the same. I'm sure your time has been much more exciting. I can't wait to return and see what progress has been made. Oh, these long travels between towns. I amuse myself by closing my eyes and envisioning the farm. I see kegs pulsing with sweet wine, furnaces ablaze with precious ore, and our little kitchen with the smell of cinnamon and nutmeg. There's a lot to enjoy. Just don't stay out too late in the mines, my love. It's dangerous out there. If you must go, bring plenty of food. Love, Elliot. That was so cute and so wholesome. I am loving his 14 heart event. It's been amazing so far. My dear Marin, this will be my last letter before I return home. I've had a fine trip, though nothing too exciting. It's been nice to meet people who enjoy my work, but I'm eager to return home. I look forward to the comfort of our little house, the satisfying farm work, a home-cooked meal, and most of all, cozying in the flannel sheets with you. Aw, cute. See you soon. Love, Elliot. Yay! That means he should be coming home tomorrow! We'll see if he has anything fun to say and wrap this cutscene up. Although, I don't know if I'd consider it a cutscene, it's much more of an event.
Since it was a Friday, I went ahead to check the fruit cave, but ultimately was disappointed with no apple. But I also had the opportunity to run down and check out the traveling cart. So after collecting my fruit, I headed in that direction, but like always, there wasn't anything worth buying too much, and I was ultimately pretty disappointed.
Well, there's no apple.
So I tucked into bed, super excited to be reunited with Elliot tomorrow.
Marin, I'm back. I've missed you. One drop of the big city and I'm quenched. I much prefer being back here with you. Well, I guess it's back to the old routine once again. I've got some chores to catch up on. And that's it. That's his cutscene. I think that cutscene was very cute and very sentimental. I think it really focused on aspects of marriage and romance and compassion, and honestly, it's one of my favorites. Like I said, I haven't romanced and married many characters before. I've gotten Abigail's 14 Heart event, and I think that's it. So, with not having that much experience about it, I definitely say Elliot's is one of my favorites, and going forward in the future, it's going to be really hard to top that 14 Heart event.
Since it was a Saturday, I decided to hop into bed and wake up tomorrow ready to hit that traveling cart. But like always, it did not have an apple, and I was starting to feel really, really down. I was losing faith in the traveling cart.
Well, no apple, but I can't say I'm surprised.
After that, it really was just going to sleep, waking up the next day, and deciding to go to sleep as I was waiting for Friday to roll around to check the fruit cave and the traveling cart. It was honestly really, really boring, and I was getting so tired of it, and it had only been a few days. Luckily, something happened in the evening on Wednesday the 10th that gave me something to look forward to and something to do the next day.
Ooh, this means we now have access to the raccoons in the raccoon shop.
So, if you didn't know, in this event, when the strong wind blows, this tree gets blown over, and if you fix it up, a raccoon will move in, and later his family moves in and they open a little raccoon shop. Now, it did require 100 pieces of hardwood to be fixed up, and honestly, it's not the point of this video, but it did give me something nice to do as I waited for an apple to appear, because honestly, I would so much rather play the game and be engaged with the game than just wake up and sleep every day because it's easier or quicker or better for the YouTube account. I wanted to engage with the game, so I was very happy.
I've had this recurring nightmare that you gave me a buzz cut. You wouldn't ever do that to me, would you? This is such a funny conversation.
With my side quest of gathering hardwood, as I was doing, I did manage to level up in foraging, and it's been a long time.
Ooh, we haven't leveled up in a long time. I guess we get to spin the wheel. This is crazy. Okay, are we gonna get botanist or tracker? Honestly, at this point, I don't think either of these are too helpful. But I do think I'm a little glad I got botanist over tracker because tracker would be so lame to have this late into the game. So yay!
And then it was just back to waking up and going back to sleep. I would check the fruit cave and the traveling carts on Fridays and Sundays. And finally, it was Sunday the 14th, and some really, really exciting things happened today when I checked the fruit cave.
It's here! Oh my gosh! The apple is here! Yes! Yes!
So, of course, I waited no time gathering up the rest of my apples, and I booked it to the community center. I was so excited to finally start working on the challenge again and finally start playing the game again.
We can finally finish it, guys! We're finally here!
Of course, upon completing the bundle, I got jump scared once again by the Junimos, in which they decided to bid me farewell and, of course, finish fixing up the very last room of the community center, and it was just the best. Everything looked so good. And, of course, that meant I could finally move on with the challenge, but not before saying bye to the Junimos.
It's done! On Sunday the 14th of the second summer, the community center is complete, which means we are going to be moving really quickly to finish the rest of this challenge.
Of course, there was only one thing left to do in this challenge, and that was to catch every single fish. And I needed to get the community center completion cutscene because after that, Willie would unlock his back room so I could fix up the boat and get to Ginger Island. And after that, I could get the Wizard's Dark Talisman quest. So I needed that cutscene.
You gotta be kidding me. Green Rain? I don't think we can get the cutscene for the community center in Green Rain. Ugh. Back to bed it is. Another rainy day? I need the community center cutscene. Ugh.
But don't worry because the next day things finally got set in motion.
Dear Marin, everyone around town has been talking about your great generosity lately. Apparently, packages have been appearing in people's houses containing items they posted about years ago on the community center bulletin. And the packages are all addressed from your farm. Thanks for going out of your way to do something like that. All of us in town are delighted. And Willie, it says, Marin, I've unlocked the back of the room of the shop. Come by when you have a chance. There's something I want to show you. Yes, we're gonna unlock Ginger Island so we can catch the lionfish, the blue discus, and the stingray. So, of course, we're gonna pick up everything we need for the boat and head off down to Willie's.
In my excitement to get to Willie's, I totally forgot about the community center cutscene. But of course, I had to go through town to get to the beach, so that was triggered, and it was super, super exciting. Of course, there is a little bit of a cutscene that goes along with this, but we're just gonna watch a little snippet of it, and you can see what I decided to do.
Sales have been plummeting. Where have all my customers gone? All my customers here? This isn't good. The old-fashioned way is always better. But speaking of that, I've never actually hit the let's be reasonable button, and this makes me think we need to spin another wheel. All right, we're gonna go for theatrics today. Don't worry, I will be playing through Stardew Valley many more times, and I am sure we will see what happens when we are reasonable. This means nothing. I'll just run a 75 off sale and all my customers will come crawling back to me, begging for your forgiveness. You'll see. No, not this time, Morris. I think it's time we settled this once and for all. Oh, and how do you propose we do that? Ha ha ha! Primitive. If you're too scared to fight me, then bring one of your coworkers, or are all Joja employees such cowards? Insult me all you like, but don't you dare slander the good name of Joja. You're even weaker than your fresh produce selection. And the way you throw punches is just like Joja. Quantity over quality. Morris and his Jojamart cronies were never heard from again. Well, there was the community center cutscene. Now time to head down to Willie.
Which I did rather quickly. I was so excited to just fix everything up, but of course, I had to go through the cutscene first. So, here we are.
Aye, a sad sight, isn't she? She was me father's boat, served him well for over 50 years. But now she can barely stay afloat. I'd repair her myself, but I don't have the right materials, miss. Aye, 200 pieces of hardwood to patch the hole would be a good start. But we'll also need to get the ticket machine back up and the iridium anchor repaired. If I could get me hands on the right materials and repair the old girl, well, I could take you to the Fern Islands. Volcanic islands full of strange parrots, they say. I can pass? Well, we all know I need to help him to be able to finish my goals, so. I thought you would, miss. I'll leave this door unlocked for ya. You can come drop off the materials whenever you like. Well, I am about 100 hardwood short, but I definitely have it at home. So I will drop off the batteries and the iridium. I will grab that hardwood and we will be right back here.
So, with the magic power of editing, I went ahead and grabbed that hardwood so you guys didn't have to watch me trek all the way across town and back again.
So tomorrow we can go to Ginger Island, but today there is still one more thing I need to do.
And that is, of course, to start the Dark Talisman quest from the wizard.
Ah, Marin, I've been waiting for you. Have I ever told you I used to be married? Strange, I know, for a man like me, but it's true. My wife and I were together for many years until I made a mistake that drove her away. Her anger and envy were so intense that she turned green and began flying around the countryside, cursing everything in her path. When I found out, I sealed this passage to her home, fearing that an innocent villager might fall prey to her dark magic. But now it must be unsealed, for when we separated, she took my magic ink! I need that magic ink back. I would do this myself, but I can't see her again. That's why I need your help. In order to unseal this passage, you'll need a dark talisman. Talk to Krobus in the sewer. He should know where to find one. I'm counting on you. If you can retrieve my magic ink, I promise I'll make it worth your while. Now go! That's right, we had to get the cutscene to open the second part of the sewers. So it's 6:20 p.m. With any luck, we'll be able to catch both the Slimejack and the Void Salmon today.
So I had a quick chat with Krobus, who told me he did have a dark talisman, but that it was in a dangerous part of the sewers. But after assuring him I could handle it, he went ahead and undid the seal for me, and I ran all the way through, killed several bugs, and eventually was able to grab the dark talisman. But we all know that I am not in the sewers for the dark talisman. I am in the sewers for the one and only Slimejack fish. So after getting the dark talisman, I of course set up my fishing rod and caught the Slimejack. It took a couple of tries, but eventually I got it.
Alright, there's our Slimejack. Now we're gonna try to hit the Void Salmon. It is 10 p.m., so we'll see if we can get there.
I rushed all the way back to the train station, where I used the dark talisman to remove the little Baba Yaga house in front of the witch. And it was already 12 at that point, so I was praying to catch the Void Salmon quickly.
There we go, the Void Salmon. I got 1 hour to get home before I pass out. Yes, I made it to my house. Will I make it to bed? No! That is okay.
That night, we watched Robin and Willie repair the boat, and I was so excited to get to Ginger Island. The end was so close, I could taste it. I was ecstatic.
So yesterday we caught both the Slimejack and the Void Salmon, and today we are going to set off for Ginger Island.
So I headed down to the beach as soon as I could and bought a ticket for Ginger Island. Then I got to enjoy the beautiful scenery as Willie boated me all the way out to the islands. Now, I do have to recommend that when you get this cutscene, definitely zoom your camera out. Because if you zoom your camera out, you can see so much more of the coast. And this is very, very important because when we get close to the Fern Islands, there's a very, very special island. And I hope with all of my heart Concerned Ape does something with this island because I cannot believe I'm not allowed to go there. And that island, of course, is this little island down here with the dinosaur on it. I need it so badly to have dinosaurs in this game. The first thing I did as soon as I got off the boat was go ahead and fish up our first island fish, the lionfish. And of course, shortly after that in my journeys, I also fished up the second island fish, the blue discus. But to get our third island fish, we need something very important. We need the golden walnuts, because in order to get to the eastern side of the island, I have to unlock the resort. So it's time for a golden walnut montage. course, some of the walnuts required puzzles or little side quests, and they did take longer to get, and I still wanted to feature them here. I really wanted to feature me doing this Simon Says, because this was my very first attempt on this playthrough, and you just have to watch just how crazy this was.
I got that on my first try. I am an undefeated champion, guys. First try.
Of course, I did some other walnut quests, including the Pirate Locket quest from Birdie, which I was able to return to her very quickly and get the walnuts from her. And honestly, Birdie is such a fun character. I am so glad of her inclusion on the island because she really just is so cute. But that's just my opinion. There's the bird. I also was on the island long enough to get 4 rainy days, meaning I found all 4 of the gem birds, so that in the end I was able to complete this little puzzle to the side here, which was super awesome because completing these puzzles generally gives you a lot more walnuts than just finding walnuts randomly around the island.
We did it! We did it! We can now open the resort and get the stingray!
Which was so incredibly exciting because the stingray was the second to last fish I needed in order to complete my goal of catching every single fish in Stardew Valley. So obviously after the resort was up, I immediately headed to the right here to go fish one up. And honestly, I couldn't wait. I was so excited and a little nervous because from what I could remember, the stingray was actually a bit of a hard catch, but I was able to catch it pretty quickly after just a short battle.
There it is, the stingray! We've done it! Now there's only one thing left in this challenge. And that is the legend. So the problem is you can only catch the legend on rainy days in spring, and it is midsummer. So I have 2 options. Wait all the way until spring, or use magic bait. Now, to get magic bait, I first need to be able to enter the walnut room. Which means I need 100 walnuts. After that, I need to complete enough key quests to afford the magic bait, and then be able to get enough magic bait to realistically fish up the legend, because I doubt I'm going to be able to do it on my first 3 tries. And maybe it seems logical or reasonable to just sleep till spring, why not? But remember, then we'd have to wait for a rainy day, and we all know how that went last spring. Besides, I don't want to sit here and wake up and sleep and wake up and sleep and wake up and sleep until spring. That's just boring. So, like everything I do, I'm going to be absolutely extra, and we are going to get ourselves some magic bait, which means it is time for some more walnut hunting.
And of course, that means it is time for another walnut montage. And with that last walnut, it was finally time to enter the walnut room. It was really weird meeting Mr. Quee and not having done any of his quests for the casino or anything, but regardless, we were here. And magic bait was only 5 Quee gems, which was absolutely crazy. You got 20 bait for 5 Quee gems, which means I could do any Quee quest and be set. And of course, I decided to pick the extended family because it was a fishing based, and I figured what better way to end off a fishing challenge than with more fishing. So I very quickly ran around the entire town, fishing up all of the extended family of the legendary fish. And the first day, I was able to catch all of them except the Legend 2. I did try really hard to catch the Legend 2, and I just wasn't able to hook it that first day. But that's okay, because I went back the next day to try again. It is going to be absolutely wild catching the Legend 2 before the actual Legend, but such is my life. Immediately after catching the Legend 2, I ran all the way back to Quee's Walnut Room and spent all 20 gems on the magic bait. And then it was right back to that fishing spot to fish for the Legend. It did take me quite a long time and a really difficult battle. But after spending way too long trying to catch him, I was able to do it. And I was so excited because this felt like such a huge win after the devastating spring season where I couldn't catch him.
Yes! I did it! And that is it, guys. Year 2, Thursday the 11th of fall. We have caught every single fish. And there ends the challenge.
And that was it. I had completed every goal I had for the challenge, and I was just so happy to see it done and so proud of myself for sticking with it. Of course, we are going to keep doing these playthroughs. We are going to keep picking different professions, different farms, different marriage candidates, and I am so excited for what comes next. I feel like I have learned a lot about editing videos and also just come to appreciate how much work and effort YouTubers put into their content, because this was just me doing all of this, all of the footage, all of the playthrough, all of the editing, all of the scripts, the voiceovers. It was just me by myself, and it was an insane project. The good news is I think I learned a lot, and I'm excited for the next playthrough because I think it's going to be a lot cleaner and better and more entertaining to watch. So I want to thank you all so much for sticking with me in this playthrough, and if you like what you see and you want to make sure you catch the next episodes, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will catch you next time.